Coach Deborah has a passion and purpose to assist young men, ages 15 to 24, to overcome obstacles and build their best lives. She wants to see every young man live out their potential. She has a master's degree in human services counseling, with a major in life coaching. More importantly, she is the mother of 3 boys, who are exceptional, educated, professional men. Coach Deborah believes it is better to train early, rather than need to fix later. She utilizes basic principles and God-led concepts. Sometimes the only thing a young man has is their credibility or their name. The actions they take are based on the decisions they make. Those decisions align with their choices and result in consequences. Coach Deborah can assist you if you are lost, floundering, or confused. Embrace the help and start building your best life today.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Real Talk. Hi, Anastasia.
Hi, Deborah. How are you? Thank you. Same to you. It started off great for you. I see. I've seen a lot of streaming and conversations, and there've been such great topics so far. Your year is starting off with a bang.
Thank you. I'm trying. Well, welcome everyone this morning to Real Talk with Deborah and Anastasia. Real people, real topics, and real talk. So we are excited this morning to continue January theme of Before the Blueprint. And so we are really, really excited about our topic today. But I want to thank everyone for everything you do in support of Build Your Best Life. You just don't know what your comments, your shares, and your likes mean. That means that we can get the message out to more and more individuals. So thank you so very much. We really, really appreciate it. Yes. So we have a great topic, I believe, this morning that we're going to talk about. And it is titled, How Are You Doing? I started to go with, how you doing? But I decided I wouldn't go there. So how are you doing? You know, we all need someone. However, sometimes we get into our little shells and we won't allow anyone in. There are many people out there that are dealing with physical conditions, which are chronic, mental health issues. Yet when asked, how are you doing? They respond with that staple, I'm fine, I'm good, I'm okay. Saying you're okay when you're not okay is not good. You won't get better. You will get worse. You have to admit, hey, something is going on, because there is someone out there that can help you. If it's just a kind word or something. So be honest this morning. Are you or someone that you know are dealing with poor health, a chronic condition? Are you allowing that pain medication to manage you? You're not managing that pain medication? Are you or someone in a mental crisis? If your answer is yes, or you're not sure, or you rather not say, you're in the right place this morning. What do you think, Anastasia?
Absolutely. It is important for us to be honest with ourselves and to be open with our situations. As you and I hear all the time, there's always someone out there assigned to help you. And all genders deal with mental health. However, the source may be different. So women are more likely to be diagnosed with major depression. Men are more likely to be diagnosed with substance abuse and antisocial personality disorder. And the source of these things can be vastly different. And we're not saying that men don't experience depression or that women do not have antisocial tendencies, but these are more likely in these genders, as well as men are more likely to experience chronic health conditions earlier than women, which can result in men having shorter lives. I
Yes.
know that a friend of mine, he went to bed, and when his job was looking for him, he didn't show up for 2 days straight. That's when it was discovered that he was no longer with us.
Mm.
And you usually do that self-treatment. You're going to take a painkiller and you're going to suffer in silence, as some people say. But this year, after this conversation, we're going to break the silence, right? So this morning, we'll be sharing information with you and providing a few tips regarding physical and mental health issues. So I'm going to be starting off with women's physical health. Now, our physical health includes components like gynecological health, as menstruation, pregnancy related topics, such as prenatal care and conditions that affect fertility. There's things like primary ovarian insufficiency and poor reproductive health. Women's health can contain things such as birth control and other conditions such as Turner syndrome. There are many things that women specifically look at physically that does not enter the realm of male thought. So, along with the usual things that can plague a person, which would be like high blood pressure, um, diabetes, heart conditions, and things like that, women have that other avenue of health issues that they have to be careful of and that they have to be mindful of. And so, if we're looking at heart health, which happens to be the most common disease in females, heart health and heart disease, it is not only the most common disease in women, but it is also the number one killer of women.
Mm.
Did you know that?
Ooh.
Have you ever heard of someone dying of a broken heart? This is
Yes.
not exactly the same thing, but it happens to be the number one killer of women. So whether it takes the form of high blood pressure, high cholesterol, diabetes, obesity, or even menopause, and a stagnant lifestyle, heart disease is something to definitely be on the lookout for. And so when we are thinking about heart disease, we are looking at it just from a place of heart attack. And I believe that that's a part of where we go wrong, because there are other contributing factors that affects the heart that contributes to it having a disease or being unhealthy. So let's listen to that again. We're looking at high blood pressure as a contributing factor, high cholesterol, diabetes, obesity, menopause, and a stagnant lifestyle. It sounds like a lot, but it is our day-to-day activities that would lead us down the road to this type of situation. So then you're going to ask yourself, or you're going to think to yourself, okay, if heart disease is the number one killer, or unhealthy heart is the number one killer, along with the many things that have to be looked out for or considered as us being females, how do we combat these things? How do we take the steps necessary, make the changes that are necessary for us to be able to live a healthier life, live longer, live stronger for the people that we love, and also for ourselves first? We are going to look at it from this point of view, okay? First thing that we need to do, commit to a healthy diet. Commit. That first word right there, we're not talking about a New Year's resolution. We're not talking about a quick little keto stint. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about committing to a healthy diet. Something as simple as removing red meat from your diet can make the world of difference. Something as simple as cutting out carbonated sodas and sugary drinks and foods, which includes ketchup. Do the research. Those things that are high in sugar, cutting those out or lessening them or choosing a different source of sugar rather than the sucrose, it can make a big difference in your heart health, in your physical health overall. Let's look at something else. Limit snacking. How many toes did I step on?
Yeah.
Including my own. Limit snacking. It is hard. It's not an easy road. I've been trying it a little bit since the year has come in. I have not limited snacking completely, but I've changed the type of snacks that I have. And that can also help. If you not just limit the snacking, because what we women tend to do is a lot of bored eating. When we're in our idle time or we don't have anything to do at that very moment, or even sometimes when we're stressed, we tend to snack. Just pick at something, you're not actually hungry, but you just want to keep your mouth going. And that's something that we tend to do. Let's be conscious. Let's be mindful. Let's limit that snacking. Next thing, drink lots of water. I just stepped on my toes again. I'm hoping to have my feet left at the end of this conversation. But drink lots of water. If it is that you have to resort to the lightly flavored water as an introduction or, as that little gateway into drinking more water and getting more fluids inside of you, even though it's preferred to be clear fluid, not Sprite soda, but clear fluid as in water, even if it's carbonated water, still water, alkaline water is a thing now. Mm-hmm. In whatever form it needs to be. It hydrates your cells, it hydrates your body, and by filling your kidney, it helps you to urinate more, pass waste more, and therefore it's not stuck in your body. And it's out there in the world where we don't have to care about it anymore. So let's drink plenty of water, drink lots and lots of water. The next tip is move more. I know it's not as simple as it sounds. We cannot always carve out that hour every day to go and take a walk around the park. We cannot always carve out that time to go swimming if that's what your hobby is. But simple things can be done. When you're taking a break from work, how about we take a walk around the building? How about we take a walk around the premises? When it is that we are arriving or leaving from work, how about we take the stairs instead of the elevator? How about we park just a little bit further than we usually do so we can get a few extra steps in? I know it sounds like a lot when I say move more, but there are still smaller things that we can do on a regular basis that will contribute to more steps, which is more exercise, which is a healthier body. And guess what? After all of that exercise and all of that walking up and down that you're going to do, the next tip is get lots of sleep. We joke around in our family that, one of the reasons that we look so young, because if you look at my mom, you wouldn't believe it. But one of the reasons that we tend to look the way that we do is because we sleep a lot. I am undisturbed after a little after 9 in the evening. And I'm not trying to get up again until, well, I wish 9 in the morning, but then, work is still a thing. But, allowing your body to rest, allowing your mind to be at rest, allowing your muscles to relax, taking in those deep breaths subconsciously, it is very beneficial to our physical health. As long as we are not having nightmares and our body is at rest, our mind is at rest, we are at peace, we are in a state of relaxation, then the body is able to regroup and rejuvenate for the next day and not go into the next day tired and worn, and you're just piling on more usage on top of past usage on top of past usage. We've got to allow our body to rejuvenate and to recoup after each day. The next one is limit alcohol and tobacco use. Now, I would like to think that it kind of goes without saying that, because we know that alcohol really does take a toll on the body. We know that it takes quite a toll on the skin, because in the same way that when we drink water, that's what's hydrating our cells, hydrating our bodies, and then we bring it out through our pores. Alcohol functions in the same way. And so it goes throughout the body and it comes out through our skin. And tobacco, we already know the effects of it on our lungs. We know the effect of it to persons that are surrounding us. It's not only affecting us, but it is affecting people around us. And that is to be said about all of those things. When we're not taking care of ourselves, we're not able to take care of the people around us. It's just like when you're on the airplane, they always tell you, put the mask on yourself and then help the person next to you, even if it's your baby. And so let's put the mask on ourselves when it comes to our physical health.
All right. That's some good stuff. Well, I'm going to talk about our males and their physical health. As mentioned earlier, males are likely to have chronic conditions earlier in their lives than their counterparts. So that's something to think about. Heart disease, cancer, and diabetes are the leading cause of death and disability just in the United States. And I'm pretty sure it's kind of mirrored all around the world, even though in different areas we have different eating habits and living habits. But those conditions that I just mentioned contribute to the majority of the $4.1 trillion in annual healthcare costs. $4.1 trillion, just those three conditions. So you can imagine the number of people that are suffering with these conditions. And sometimes we get into these ruts because it's like hereditary. So what our great-great-grandparents ate, their children ate, so our grandparents ate, our parents ate, and we eat. And those things we have learned are not always good for us. And some of these will kind of be duplicated, so I won't go into details, excuse me. But just a few risky, not good behaviors contributed to these three chronic conditions. And that is tobacco use, as was mentioned, but also that secondhand smoke. That's not good for you either. Poor nutrition. So you need to get in those fruits, those vegetables. Stay away from what? Sodium and high saturated fats. Those fats are what get you. As Anastasia said, you need more physical activity. It's the lack of that physical activity that contributes to these conditions, and then the excessive alcohol usage. Conditions that men are more likely to have over females is the heart disease. Well, we know females have heart disease as well. Heart disease is actually the #1 killer for men and women, but men are diagnosed with these conditions 10 years before, age-wise, before women. So that's something that they have to think about. So they really need to pick it up, and they can't wait and linger to get good habits going. Now, Parkinson's disease is something that's huge in men. So men are 1.5 times more likely to have Parkinson's disease. The one thing with this is we know this disease is not preventable. So it's just one of those things. Now, melanoma. After age 50, men tend to contract melanoma more than women. And that's what we get when we're out and we allow our bodies to be exposed to too much sunlight. You can get skin diseases. Men are also more likely to be diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. This may due to because men have a higher rate of smoking, and it's in their genetics. So because men tend to smoke more, they get pancreatic cancer more. So, I would have thought before this research that it was just linked to the lung cancer, but it also impacts your pancreas. Now, gout and kidney stones usually appear between the ages of 30 and 50 in men. Women, and gout is caused by uric acid. But so women, they have it, but they tend to, in their bodies, I don't know if they drink more water or what it is, but they tend to flush it out more so than men do. So men are impacted more. And then people that have gout are also more prevalent to have kidney stones. So it is a lot. Men are also 3 to 5 times more likely to have abdominal aortic aneurysms. They call it AAA. And it is most common in men who smoke, are over age 65, have high blood pressure, and atherosclerosis. I'm probably not pronouncing that right, but atherosclerosis. And that's hardening of the arteries. So most of us, I know it by hardening of the arteries. So all those things are typical in our males. So all you males out there listening, or you females and you have a male in your life, you need to share this information. Some of the tips, and like I said, I won't go too deep because Anastasia mentioned some of these, is you need to get that exercise. You need to eat a balanced diet. You need to drink plenty of water. Can you say that with me? Plenty of water. You need to see a physician as soon as you have irregularities. Now, I do know that men shy away from going to doctors, where a female may find something that's just not right. They are more likely to go seek help to find out what is it. A man, I don't know if it's because they're macho, they're more frightened of doctors, or what it is, but they tend to just, keep away from the doctor as long as they can. But as soon as you feel something that's not right, and you should know your body, you need to go find out what it is. It could be something that medication can cure, but it might be something that's really, really serious. Stop smoking. And I'm not a smoker, never been a smoker. So I understand that it is not easy, but now they have more methods for people to that cessation to stop smoking. But you need to stop smoking because it does impact those lungs. You can get lung cancer, throat cancer. And we heard from what I stated before, you can even get pancreatic cancer. And if not for you, what about those grandkids, your children, your grandkids? Secondhand smoke does just as much damage as smoking. So that's something to think about. That alcohol consumption, red meat. Red meat. You need to eat less red meat because red meat increases chances of heart disease, colorectal cancer, and type 2 diabetes. Mm. So all you steak lovers out there, think about those 3 conditions: heart disease, colorectal cancer, and type 2 diabetes. Manage that weight. I know it's not easy. It is so much fun to eat. And like Anastasia said, that snacking, oh my goodness, in the evening, oh, like I say, you want your stomach not to feel full because you want to snack on something. And that something is normally something sweet or salty. But you need to manage that the high fat, the foods that have high in content in fats and that sugar. And that sugar, like Anastasia said, ketchup. My granddaughter was eating so much ketchup till her mom figured out and by looking at the label how much sugar it had in there. So she had to get reduced fat ketchup, you know. And who would have thought ketchup had that much sugar in it? So you have to watch things like that. Look at the labels and that sodium and fried food. I know fried food tastes the best, but that has so much fat. And another thing is portion control. And a lot of people were raised that, you know, you don't leave food on your plate. Somebody else is starving. You need to eat your food, but you need to eat slowly because your brain takes longer to pick up the signal that you're full before your stomach. So that's why you're supposed to eat slowly so it can register, hey, I'm getting full. So if you are eating something and you look at your plate and it's like, one of your favorite foods is on that plate, they suggest that you eat that first. Because if you eat everything else and that favorite thing of yours is still on your plate, you can be stuffed to the point that you're about to throw up. You can eat that thing because that's what you love. So you have to look at those type things. I mean, you know it's too much. We went out to eat for my grandson's birthday Friday. Pasta. I mean, all this pasta. It was shrimp. What is it? Shrimp and lobster linguine. Oh my goodness, it was so good. I knew it was going to be good. But while she was running around getting different things, I said, excuse me, bring me a to-go box. And they're like, you're not going to eat your food? I said, yeah, I'm going to eat half of it. Because I knew it was at least enough for me and somebody else and maybe even 3 people. So I separated even before I started. And so that kind of makes you take that into consideration. The other thing with the melanoma and the sunscreen, people of color tend to think, oh, I won't get skin cancer. Yes, you will. Skin is skin. It's just different shades. You need protection from the sun. Ladies tend to not have it as much because we have a lot of women have a routine, a skin routine that they do daily. And so it normally has the right, SPF in those products, not most times that it protects their skin. But men, you need to get it. A lot of you now are doing the bald haircuts. Put some SPF product on that head. The sun is hitting directly in your head. Skin cancer, men. Listen, all this, I told you, it's good talk, good subject. So these are things that help. And my last one is learn your stressors and manage them. Because sometimes that heart, like Anastasia said about a broken heart, but those stressors, like you can be so brokenhearted that it will stress you out. It can cause, heart conditions. It can cause you to eat more. It can cause you to stuff yourself. So try, it's not easy. I know it's not easy, but you have to, for your benefit, you have to try to know what is my stressor, what stresses me out, and what can I do that will not impact me negatively and manage it that way. But that's about my man.
Yeah, I definitely agree with your last point, especially learning our triggers. knowing what it is that sets us off and what got us to this place or points us in that direction, that requires so much honesty and self-reflection, but it's very important. And I know that, are we tend to try and separate physical health from mental health. However, a long-term physical illness or a lifelong or chronic condition like diabetes is more likely to lead to stress, worry, or anxiety, especially over appointments or test results. It also can lead to low self-esteem or feelings of discrimination or stigma. So we wonder how it is our physical health can be associated with our mental health. But what happens with us mentally affects us physically, and what happens with us physically affects us mentally. And so we're going to look at women's mental health now. And a lot of people don't realize it, but mental health disorders can affect women and men differently. Some disorders are more common in women, such as depression, anxiety, and eating disorders. We do not hear so much about the eating disorders, things like bulimia and anorexia and all of these things. We don't hear about them as much as we used to, earlier on in the 90s and the early 2000s, but it still exists. And so for a lot of women, these battles with depression, with anxiety, and with these eating disorders tends to have a huge effect on us because while they are mental health issues, they are affecting us physically.
Mhm.
So the top 5 that have been common with women were depression, anxiety, panic disorder, obsessive compulsive disorder, and post-traumatic stress disorder. And I know that, especially when persons hear about PTSD, it's associated with persons that have gone to war, persons that have been in the Army, they've been in the Navy, they've seen some sort of hugely traumatic. It's not always that. No one can tell you how to respond to a traumatic experience that you've had. No one can predict how someone will respond to a traumatic experience that they've had. And so a friend of mine, she was in her car and she was sitting in front of her friend's house. Her friend went inside to get something for her. And while waiting on her to come back, a young man came and he decided to take the car from her at gunpoint. That is a highly stressful situation. It is not war. It is not watching someone die or, an experience of 9/11 or something like that. But after having that experience, she did not want to drive for a while. And she didn't have her own vehicle anymore. Not wanting to drive anyone else's vehicle, not wanting to be out after dark. These were the and it is a PTSD, you know? While someone else may have been, well, their response may have been, well, this happens every day and, you know, it was my time and it happened, but a few days later, they're fine and they're good to go. It took her a while, quite a while, to get over this situation and to get past it to the point of her driving herself and being out after dark and all the rest of these things and not being a little panicky by herself. And like I said, No one can predict how someone will respond. You cannot, no one can tell you how you should respond to any situation. However, you are in control of your own life. You are going to determine how long you're going to stay with this feeling of fear, how long you're going to stay with this feeling of depression, how long you're going to have this panic disorder, as long as you're not willing to open up and talk to somebody about it, to get some kind of treatment for it, to first acknowledge it. These are the things that are necessary when it comes to mental health. And so there are ways that we can boost our mental health on our own. Now, like I said, the first thing that we're going to need to do is acknowledge that there's an issue. That is the very first thing. Even Alcoholics Anonymous, that is what they say. The first step is acknowledging that you have a problem. Once you've acknowledged it and you've accepted it, then you're looking at your action plan toward it. So some of the things that we can do that can help us out with dealing with mental disorders would be to get at least 15 minutes of sunshine per day. I said 15 minutes. I did not say to sit out there for an hour or two and bake. No, you are not a potato. This is not what you need. But the vitamin D coming into your body and the peace of being outside, that those outdoor environments, the beauty of nature, there's nothing else like it. And so 15 minutes a day of pure sunshine, it's shown to boost the vitamin D and elevate your mood. A simple enough thing that we can do any day, anywhere. The next thing is spend a half an hour in nature whenever you can. So the 15 minutes of sitting out and half an hour in nature is two separate things. If you like going fishing, that's where your time can come in, your half an hour with nature. If you like hiking, if you like swimming, if you like bird watching, how about that? Go ahead to a park. How about people watching? I've heard that it's a popular thing in New York. I haven't been able to get there yet. It's on the list. But people watching is a thing. Sit down on a park bench. Look around. Take in your environment. It gets you to take your mind off of your stressors. It gets you to slow down your heart rate, to breathe deeper. And like we said, your physical is attached to your mental just as much as your mental is attached to your physical. And so taking half an hour in nature, it can help you to relax and to recenter. So the third thing is take a short trip. Play tourist. I live in the Bahamas, for those of you that do not know. And while we are one of those number one, if not the number one tourist destination in the entire world, bar none, even here, we can still be a tourist. If you live in New York, if you live in Orlando, any part of Florida, any part of the US, anywhere, you can be a tourist. You can play tourist, like we say. Mm-hmm. I'm sure that there is a new attraction that has started. You can Google tourist attractions, because even though I've lived here my entire life, there are things that people come here to do that I have not done. Mm-hmm. I have not experienced the swimming with the pig experience, believe it or not. Yes, I know, it's on the list also, but I haven't done it yet. And that's just one of the quite a few things that living in a country you can take for granted. And so I'm sure that there are things in your state, in your hometown, that you'll hear other people come to visit. They travel to see these things and to experience these things. And you live right there and you haven't seen it yet, or it hasn't piqued your interest. But maybe you need to go ahead and just do the little tourist thing, you know, experience some new stuff. It'll take your mind out of your everyday routine. It'll take your mind off of whatever it is that's stressing you, and it helps you out. Now, if it is that you cannot take that short trip, I don't want to say take a trip at home, but it's kind of the same thing if you unplug from your devices.
Mhm.
That's a big one. It's been advised that we do not look at our phones for the first hour when we wake up. Usually, when you pick up your phone as one of the first things that you go into, you're going to see some sort of upsetting news. There are sometimes, you'll get something good that'll come across your screen, but along with the chances of you seeing something good or seeing something positive, you're also taking that chance of seeing something negative or getting something that's upsetting. And so it's advised that within that first hour of you waking up, do not pick up your phone, do not turn on your television. You start your day off with everything else that you know brings you joy.
Yeah.
That's your time to wake up the kids. That's your time to get in that closet and check out that wardrobe. Those fashionistas that enjoy just picking out shoes to shirt to skirt to all of that type of thing. That may be your happy place. Go in that closet. Do what you need to do. Do what makes you happy before you get into what's happening in the rest of the world. So that was the fourth thing. Unplug from your devices. Even if it is only that meditation hour, if you can't do it in the morning when you first get up, maybe you're able to do it later on in the afternoon, or maybe for an hour before you go to bed. You just detach yourself from everything else, and you center and you try to calm your mind down, and you take that approach. And my last piece of advice for you is practicing forgiveness. There are a lot of things that we need to forgive ourselves for. There are a lot of mistakes that we've made in our own lives and in our past that, we should have seen it coming, but we didn't, or we should have approached it differently, but we didn't, or we should have broke up with him a long time ago, but we didn't. Forgiveness is important. Practice forgiving yourself. If you're not down on yourself about something that you've done, maybe it's someone else that you need to forgive. When you have not practiced forgiveness with yourself or with other people, you tend to carry that burden around with you. You carry that weight around with you. And like I said, our mental health affects our physical health. Our physical health affects our mental health. And so we've got to make sure that we've got both of those things in check.
Mm-hmm. That is a lot of stuff. Can you imagine that's just heavy? That can just weigh heavily on someone. All of that extra weight. All of that extra weight. Yes. Well, let's talk about these guys and mental health. But we talk about, I talk about mental health a lot, but so many people don't. But mental health is real. It is real. And the issues should not be overlooked, and they are often overlooked. We don't recognize that is something going wrong. We see people that we love, we are around all the time, and we know it's something different, but we don't say anything. No, shame on us. You have to say something. And when it comes down to mental health and even physical health, you can't worry about offending someone. If you know you're bringing something up that's going to help them, you got to bring it up. If they get offended, oh well. Hopefully they will not, or even if they act like they do, they at least will listen to what you're saying. But it's up to us to try to assist people. Now, while women are more likely to experience mental health conditions than men and to commit suicide, men are 3.5 times more likely to die from suicide. So the reason for that is because females tend to do something, I would say, maybe not so aggressive or tragic. So they may slit a wrist and, this bad, but maybe someone will find them, eventually before it's too late. But men tend to use firearms most of the time. So when they use firearms, of course, they have to do something that they can do. So that's usually here or here. And those are normally, deadly. So that's why men are 3.5 times more likely to die from suicide. And, a lot of times we see people and we don't like what we see and we respond negatively, but you never know where someone is, what's in their mind, what's going on. And when you speak out of your mouth something negative, that could be the thing that just pushes them over the edge. So you have to be slow to speak. Watch your words, as Ms. Carol tells us. But the top factors that affect men are showing that they are strong and in control. They don't want anyone to think that they're weak or whatever. So it's like, I'm okay. So, how are you doing? Oh, I'm fine. Everything's, hey, not a problem. I'm 100. But they know something's wrong and they don't want to accept help from others. How many celebrities do you hear after their deaths? You're like, what? That's going on? What? And then you hear their family come out afterwards and saying, well, we had an intervention. But they said, nothing's wrong with me. I can handle it. Everybody looked at Michael Jackson holding that baby. I think it was Prince out that window. Did everybody think that was normal behavior for a father? Look at Whitney. You could tell something was wrong with her. It was even, impacting her voice. But did anybody say anything? Or did she just overlook them? And sometimes, I'm kind of going off a script, but sometimes you have to take drastic measures. They say drastic situations call for drastic moments. And I don't know why it flashed in my mind, but Natalie Cole, when she got into that space, her mom was like, not my child. The devil's not going to take my child. She got the law involved and, I don't know if she Baker acted or whatever she did, but she did something that so she could be in control and not let her child just waste away. So sometimes you have to do those things. You don't want to, but if you know something's wrong and you say something and it's like, no, I'm fine. If you have to Baker act them, whatever you got to do to save them, you have to do it. Because if you love somebody, you rather for them to be mad at you or gone. I prefer them to be mad. Okay. A lot of times men think, I should be the head of the family. So they have a job, have a good job, got good work ethics, but that female in the family is making more money. That makes them feel a certain type of way. They may begin to drink. They may begin to do something. But there are certain aspects of wanting to be more masculine, be macho, I'm strong. When someone in their family dies or something, they've been taught men don't cry. So they don't cry. They don't show any emotions. You just lost your dad. You just lost your son. You just lost your wife. You sitting there like, oh, I'm okay. I got it. And inside it's just eating you up like a cancer. If it doesn't come out through the tears, you not eating, or you just laying on, it's going to come out another way. And that's in mental health. It's going to come out some type way. So you have to watch people, because, we're with an illness, somebody might, physical illness, they might say, oh, my stomach has really been bothering me for 2 months now. But when they think it's, I'm hearing voices, I'm going to start relying on this medication I had when I hurt my back. When I take that, it really makes me forget all those horrible things, then, we need to do some things. But there are some signs that you can tell when something is going on with someone. And that's why, we talk about listening and not just being in someone's space and pretending you're listening, but you are really listening to the words they're saying, the expressions on their faces, and their actions. But if someone begins to act differently, you know that this was a person that was dependable, they had good ethics, they always went to work, their clothes was always nice. All of a sudden, you look at them, they may have a spot on their clothes. You didn't have to go to work today? I called in. Like, they called in. This is somebody that's had perfect attendance for the last 5 years. They called in. That doesn't sound right. What are you going to do? You're not going to do anything? Hey, you need to start paying attention. You might see that they begin to have multiple accidents. Every time you turn around, they're in a car accident. Well, what happened? I don't know. Were you in the wrong? Somebody hit you? I don't know. Hey, you got a new car. What's up? Oh, I had an accident. Okay, you had 5 accidents in the last month. What's really going on? They start using drugs. You acting awfully funny. What is wrong with you? Man, I just tried something. I feel all right. I'm okay. Well, you can you addicted to this, or you strung out on this stuff? Oh, no. Just when I want to. I'm good. They're always good. They're always fine. But they are feeling numb or sad. You look at them, they look, they just don't look right. Somebody that used to have an occasional drink every time you see them, if they don't look like they're intoxicated, you can smell the alcohol. Something is wrong. They losing focus. They're having mood swings. You're talking to them one moment and they're fine. The next moment they're cursing you out, saying, get out of my house. Like, what is going on? There is something wrong. And if they're not paying attention, you have to pay attention. You just have to do things like that. And some triggers are, someone begins to age, and in their aging, they're not aging at a normal pace. They're having problems. They need a hip surgery. The hip goes out, the knee goes out. Something's wrong. If I don't have pneumonia, I got the flu. There's always something wrong. They lose their job. They don't know how to take that. They don't look at it as a temporary situation. They just take it like, I lost my job. I don't know what I'm going to do. How am I going to take care of my family? They lose a family member. You're trying to keep it inside. Those emotions are just building up till it comes to a breaking point. You've had a marriage. You thought that marriage was good. It was together. It breaks apart for whatever reason. You heard people say, I love you to death. Some people really love people to death. They love that person so much that they just cannot take it, not being with them 24/7. But because that person was doing something, they may have lost custody of their children, and they love their children. They just cannot stand it. Financial issues, I talk about all the time about, managing your finances. You got to save. You can't spend everything. I try to get people to come on Build Your Best Life to talk about that. But something happens, you lose that job, or you get a big expense, you have no savings. You don't know what to do. You don't have anybody that you can count on. You just lose it. I'd be better off if I'm not here. So you begin that downward spiral. People begin to bully people in school. Not only in school, people bully people on jobs. Adults bully people. And you should have heard of so many people that have committed suicide because somebody was bullying them. Everyone is not strong-willed. Some people are timid. Some people are very, very quiet. They don't bother anybody. And as soon as you do the slightest negative thing to them, they don't know how to handle that. They're not used to that. Someone that, they're hanging around with their friends. They join a fraternity. They go away to school for the first time. They want to experiment with drugs or alcohol. That can turn into something deadly. I'm tired just talking about it. But men are likely to have depression, PTSD, schizophrenia, anxiety, suffer from substance abuse. All of those things. Just one of them is bad enough. Some of them have multiple things. And, lately we have had multiple wars, and, we send our men to different countries to fight, and they come back and they're not the same. And it's sad. But, I know a young man, always upright young man, good ethics and everything. When he came back from the war in Afghanistan, it was on. His mom had to change locks on doors. They had to do everything, but it was a serious mental issue. Sometimes people, try to avoid people. You can't avoid them. You got to try to help them. Not to say you get in the way and let them harm you, but do what you can do. Some tips: find ways, again, to manage stress. Communicate with others. If you're communicating with people on an ongoing basis and listening, then you know when something's wrong, and then you have a better chance of reaching out to try to assist them. Sometimes you have to change your lifestyle. Anastasia gave us a lot of tips: that 15 minutes of sun, that 30 minutes of time in nature, getting enough sleep. I know I don't get enough sleep because I'm up early and I go to bed late. So I know I'm not. That's not good. Check the people that you associate with. People can drag you down. People can zap you of your energy. Seek treatment. Don't think, well, nobody in my family ever went to a counselor or a therapist or anything. So what? It doesn't matter. You have to live for you and your future. So if there's something going on, you need to seek help for yourself. You can't worry about what somebody else didn't do. And if you know that you have a condition, there are so many people that have conditions. You might be bipolar. You may have ADHD, and it might be severe. And you're on medication, and you'll just decide, I'm not going to take it. And it puts you in a worse space, and different things happen. You go back to the suicide, heavier drugs. So mental health is no joke. Again, remember I started this out by saying, if you or someone that you love have anything going on with physical or mental issues, this was a talk to listen to. So I pray, I don't hope, I pray that something Anastasia and I said has helped someone, has waken up someone, caused you to share this with someone, because this is real. This is your life. And today is the first day of the rest of your life. And you have an opportunity to change it. That's all I got, Anastasia.
Oh, we had a lot. We have definitely had a lot this morning, but it has been great information. And it all goes back to the topic for the day, which is, how are you doing? So after all the information that you've gotten from myself and from Miss Deborah, we want for you to really think about it, to really answer yourself honestly, and to take that time and learn How are you doing? Don't forget to like, don't forget to comment, don't forget to share. If you want to tell us a little story or something that you experienced, that would be wonderful. If you know someone that can benefit from this, even in the slightest, you're not sure that there's something going on with them physically or mentally, but just a check in, just a little share, it helps a lot. And I hope that you enjoy the rest of your Saturday morning, that again, this word has been beneficial to you, beneficial to someone close to you, that it doesn't just go in one and come out the next. The beautiful thing about YouTube and Facebook and everything is that it's always going to be available at the edge of your fingertips. So
Yes.
even if it's not something that you feel like you can relate to right now, you may be able to come back to it later on and it'll still be right there, ready for you to click, ready for you to listen, ready for you to put these tips and plans into play.
Amen. So again, thank you so much for tuning in today. Please join us on Tuesday. It is the last broadcast for January. My special guest is Sean Smith from Dallas, Texas, and our topic is going to be Get an App, and the app is AP. So I know when people see that, they're going to think I spelled it incorrectly, but that's the way we're going to spell this, AP, Get an App. Okay, so please join us on next Tuesday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I hope that I get to see some of you on that. You have anything else before I close out, Anastasia?
No, I am good.
Okay. So thank you so much, everyone. Remember that this year is Blueprint for Success. We are declaring here at Build Your Best Life, Jeremiah 29:11 over your life. God knows the plans that He has for your life. He wants you to have prosperity, not disaster, and the future you hope for. So please, please, please design your blueprint based on the plans God has for you. Follow them and build your best life. Remember, building your best life is our business. That's not a slogan, it's our commitment. I love you. Be blessed. Stay safe. I hope to see some of you Tuesday. Enjoy the rest of your Saturday. Thank you so much, Anastasia. Enjoy your day.
I will.
Bye-bye, everyone.